Thank you for joining us to close out CUTRIC's third annual Low Carbon Smart Mobility Technology Conference. What an invigorating 3 days of keynote speakers, panel discussions, and networking session. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. On Wednesday, we heard from the Honorable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Infrastructure and Community, whose leadership has been absolutely vital for our zero-emission bus investment. The Honorable Bruce Ralston, Minister of Energy, Mines, and Low-Carbon Innovation, Councillor Eric Allen Caldwell, and Councillor Jay Robinson, who all gave us key insight into what their provinces and cities are doing to combat climate change and deploy low-carbon and zero-emission technology in transit. We have heard from dozens of Canada's transit agencies from east to west, Kelly Pelejny from London Transit Commission, Rick Leary from the Toronto Transit Commission, Éric Moras from the Société Transport de Laval, Winnipeg, Guelph, Translic, and Cape Breton, just to name a few. Nos conférenciers ont couvert plusieurs sujets, notamment les autobus électriques à batterie, les autobus électriques à pile à combustible à hydrogène, les autobus au gaz naturel comprimé alimentés au gaz naturel renouvelable, les véhicules autonomes, le transport à la demande, les stratégies de modernisation et de services publics. Il y a un long chemin à parcourir pour atteindre les objectifs climatiques du Canada, mais il est clair que tous ceux, personnes et organisations qui ont participé à cette conférence sont les moteurs pour nous y amener. C'est vraiment eux qui changent le paysage de la mobilité. Sur ce, j'aimerais passer le micro à notre présidente Josipa Petranek.
Merci Magali, merci à tout le monde, et les participants, les personnes qui ont joint aujourd'hui pendant toute la semaine. Il y avait de nombreuses présentations qui m'ont appris de nouvelles choses. C'est toujours un grand plaisir d'être ici avec vous chaque année pour chaque conférence parce que moi aussi, j'apprends plusieurs choses. Il y a toujours des dialogues, des discours. Donc, there's so many things that I learn every time that we pull together these conferences. Really, I want to thank my team for just a brilliant job, led by Adriana Shuyin, who's going to join us in just a few moments, but also our speakers. You know, we often ask our speakers to take time out of their day, really busy schedules, repeat themselves ad nauseum sometimes, and we press them over and over and over, and they consistently deliver. So really a great, deep appreciation for myself, to not just the team, but also the speakers, the leaders, the elected officials, the CEOs of transit, and all of the technocratic experts that have joined us to make not just this conference, but also our ZEB conference and our Smart Rail conference and all of our conferences from the past. It is revolutionary, and I mentioned it in a panel earlier today. You know, our generation, we really did pollute the world, so it is our generation's job to fix it and clean it up. And I think when we convene in formats like this, we see that there are solutions, we're active, and a lot of us are making our careers off this industry. So bravo to you, and bravo, of course, to the team that pulled this together. Now, I'm going to turn to Adriana in just a moment so she can take us through some of those thanks to our team members. But I do want to give you a little bit of a highlight of core things that are happening right now at CUTRIC that we do invite you to be part of. Once again, I implore you to complete the gender parity study. Without the data, we don't know what really is happening. If we don't know what's happening, we cannot fix it. And I don't think anybody wants sexism in the industry to prevail as it has in the past. So we got to fix it, got to solve it. We need your insights to do that. But going forward, we are acting on our 5-point plan. Talked about it this morning in our opening speech. That 5-point plan federally, we have effectively delivered on 3 of them, but we keep pressing the red button on a couple items. Some of them include ZEB funding. Many of you know there's now $2.75 billion that's been initiated by the federal government for zero emissions bus specifically. We are asking that that includes autonomous low-speed electric shuttles as well, that it includes battery and hydrogen fuel cell buses, and that it includes the entire system, not just the buses as infrastructure, but the chargers, the energy storage devices, the electrolyzers, and the differential cost of hydrogen over diesel. This is fundamental. If, as a country, when it gets 5,000 buses on the road, ZEBs on the road in the next few years, that has to happen. But also as part of that 5-point plan, we're now pushing forward with our next big idea. I mentioned it this morning. It's the ACES Data Trust. And so we have heard from Eddie Robar and Randy Helmer and loads of our colleagues at the TTC, Loris and Rick Leary, among others who joined us, Scott Gilner at Brampton, Sue Connor, Kelly Pelechny. I mean, all of our transit partners have identified the fact that they're open and willing to the concept of sharing data, not just predicted data, but data from their actual bus performances. With that data in real time, boy, do cities have the power to really have evidence-based decision-making. And when we're talking about multiple millions, hundreds of millions into the billions of dollars, that's really important because every country in this world, including Canada, is carrying massive deficits coming out of the pandemic. So data-led decision-making, that's the next big thing, part of our 5-point plan. We've had success so far in ZEV funding. I have every confidence that my team is going to pull through on the ACES Data Trust as well. So with that, that's some highlights coming up, and we look forward to welcoming you to our next conference that Adriana is going to mention as well, our Smart Rail conference in November. With that, I'd like to invite to the virtual stage Adriana Shuyin. She has led the digitization of all of our conferences for over a year and a half. First out the door, and most certainly improving the event platform every time we do an event. Adriana.
Thanks so much, Josipa. I think we can all say that we had a jam-packed 3 days of learning new knowledge and connecting with our peers. I really enjoyed seeing so much engagement during the keynotes and the panels and at the networking events. This conference would not have been possible without the support from our sponsors. And so I'd like to give thanks again to our exclusive sponsor, ABB, our platinum sponsors, New Flyer and Ballard, our gold sponsors, Proterra, ZEV Clean Power, and Hitachi ABB Power Grids, our silver sponsors, Enbridge, Novabus, and TELUS, and our bronze sponsor, Siemens, as well as our event supporter, BAE Systems. The conference would also not have been possible without the hard work from the QTRIC Conference Task Force. I'd like to thank Grace Riley, Melissa Haynes, Dan C., Magali Franette, and Samia Bavsar, as well as the whole team who were all hands on deck these last 3 days: Parvati Pillai, Abhishek Raj, Shervin Bakhtiari, Roberto Stardenberg, Anand Pariyarath, Zahra Hassan, and of course, Josipa Petronich. A special shout out goes to all of our moderators who probably need the entire weekend to relax from these last 3 days. Lastly, I'd like to thank the audience for attending our 3rd annual Low Carbon Smart Mobility Technology Conference. And from wherever you are in the world, we hope you enjoyed the event, and we look forward to one day seeing you in person. But before that, we would like to invite you to our next online conference this year, which is our 2nd annual Smart Rail Technology Conference on November 1st and 2nd. So please save the date. And on behalf of QTRIC, thank you for coming and stay safe. Have a great evening. Merci.